Another week in the off-season, another view from the Ninian because stuff has happened. We've got a new kit, the fixtures are out, and some of the first players have left the club, signalling the BBM era is well and truly underway. Joining me, as always, from the different parts of the world they live in, Tom Phillips, Ben Price. Ben Price, how are you coping with the heat?
It's not too bad. It's not as warm here as I think it is in London. It's just a bit humid here.
Yeah, and Tom, how are you coping with the cold?
Not great, really. As you can see, I got my coat on for an inside radio podcast again. So there we go.
Radio podcast,
well,
radio podcast. There we go.
Yeah. It's also a video. It's also a video podcast. Radio, video, all the formats.
Yeah.
If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're a few subscribers, at the time of recording, a few subscribers off 700. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment, interact, all that good stuff. If you keep doing that, we'll end up in the recommended feed of weird Man United fans who want to watch Mark Goldbridge. But that's a story for another time. Ben, let's talk about the kit. It was just on the live the other day when people were asking about Mark Goldbridge.
Oh, that bloke. Yeah, that bloke.
Yeah.
I was really confused for a second then. Yeah, he was unwell.
He was mentally unwell, aren't we all? The big news dominating proceedings over the last few days, Ben Price, is the reveal of the new kit. It was revealed on Friday, modelled expertly by Callum Chambers with a mullet, Callum O'Dowda with a moustache, and Jack Anick, who was injured, or still is injured. Who knows? The kit has gone down well, hasn't it, Ben?
It's a cracker. It is absolutely bloody lovely. I'm not normally a huge fan of V-necks, but I think that this one comes off really nice. It's just a nice sort of level. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And the return to pinstripes, which I'm fuming about because they've clearly stolen that from our new background.
Yeah, they have. I did mean to reference that. As you'll see, we have a new look if you are watching on YouTube. Tom, what do you think of the kit?
It is smart. I think it's something different without going too mad. Like having that subtlety of having a pinstripe on there, because a few of our kits have looked pretty samey for a while now. So it's nice to jazz it up a little bit. The only problem for me is I am just so bored of the sponsor now.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, it does spoil it a little bit. But to be honest, apart from that, I think it's an absolute cracking kit.
I still as boring as it is, I prefer that to a betting company.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Oh, 100%. But then we could be Preston and have local business Spud Bros sponsoring it, isn't we? Imagine Clark's Pie sponsoring the Cardiff City shirt. It would be a dream.
You spoke about it the other week.
Yeah, you did talk about it the other week. It goes back then, doesn't it, to the 80s? We had a kit in 85 that had pinstripes and a kit in 87 that had pinstripes. A few people have kind of said it's a bit Ipswich. It's just kind of reminiscent of them, but it's quite nice as a historical nod without being too overtly historical, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice nod to it without being just an out-and-out retro reproduction. You look at Stokes away kit this year with the retro badge and stuff.
Bit weird, isn't it?
It's meh. I think New Balance have got it right. It looks modern enough, but that really nice little nod. To be honest, I kind of wish they did this last year. I mean, this kit with that rat circle badge last year for the 125th, what a kit to be relegated.
Yeah. Tom, it would have been, last season's kit had that kind of marketing kind of gump written about it, didn't about the chevrons mean, linking back to the kind of Riverside badge, all that kind of stuff. But a smart kind of subtle nod to the kind of retro 80s kits that we have this year, with that old badge, as Ben said, would have been a world-class kit, wouldn't it?
Possibly. I don't know whether that does kind of venture into the almost going down the retro reproduction line then. If you did do both of them, I'm not sure if it would take away from it slightly. But I don't know. I'm just happy to have it this year. I'm looking forward to seeing the other kits now and probably buying all of them because they just are smart. It's just a really, really nice kit. But it might be a classic case of it looking really good on a professional football player and then it turning up here and I look like a burst blancmange again. So we'll see.
Yeah, I do get scared about buying football shirts these days because I do look like a sack of custard when I'm wearing them. So it's a lot, like a lumpy pillow in a football shirt. No one needs to see that. Obviously, Ben, the other kind of debate was around the badge. Obviously, last year we had the kind of retro crest. This year it's reverted back to the little wormy guy. it was always going to be that way, though, wasn't it? So were you surprised that people were so up in arms about it?
Yeah, like as a fan base, we're very good at moaning about mad stuff, but this was always going to happen. So that the fact that so many people went on about it, going, I can't believe it's that badge again. It was always going to be that badge. Like it was never going to change. Tan's never going to change that permanently. I don't get the outcry for it. Just enjoy the shirt. Yes, it'd be nice if the Malaysian Dragon wasn't there, but it's there. It's fine. I still think, as far as badges go, we've got one of the best in the Football League, apart from that little red worm.
Whoa, that's a big shout, Tom. Do you agree?
It's not bad actually. No, I think some people have really destroyed their badges in the past, like especially when people are trying to modernize it to make it easier to put on marketing materials and stuff now. Like people have gone for some really, really nice old badges to some absolutely terrible modern ones. And I think ours is pretty decent. I've got used to the wormy thing, which is exactly what Tam would want to hear, that people are kind of like, it's there and nobody's moaning about it anymore. But it's fine. And yeah, like, I don't know, ones that come to mind. Like when Swansea, for example, when they moved to the just Swan bit, I just didn't like that. I know some people loved it. I thought it went too far down that modern route, and I think ours is like a nice balance between old and new, really.
And then we've gone flat out round. The round football badges, I'm bored of them.
Well,
just to make it look good on Twitter.
I was about to get to that point. A storied club
right now.
Yeah, that is fine. We did that ages ago. There's a very famous football club in the Football League, you know, so rich in history. They had a really clever bit in their badge that kind of harked back to the town. And this year they've gone to a round badge. And it's shocking, really, that MK Dons could do such a thing when you think about it. I have noticed that, like, even at non-league, all these clubs are going to these round badges. There must be one graphic designer out there. Malden and Tiptree is a prime example. They've been taken over by some rich guys and gone immediately to a round badge. There must be one graphic designer out there who's just going, yep, round badge, tick, done. That's just all he's busting out.
So Roger Stone, we changed to a round badge a couple of years
Boo!
ago. And it was, I'll be honest, I think the main reason for it was it was easier for Tor to put them on the kits. Yeah, the old badge was quite like a wavy sort of thing. And on an embroidery machine to get those sewn on took forever. So I think it's just simplicity for those sort of things. And the new badge for Roger Stones is better, but some of them are a lot worse. The marketing blunt for MK Dons is outstanding, though. The badge has become circular to like pay homage to the roundabouts of Milton Keynes.
It's good stuff.
Is that what it actually said? I didn't even read that.
Yeah, it was genuine. Like they broke down like detail by detail of the badge.
Yeah, they broke down.
Some of the works in marketing, like good marketing bullshit. You know that person doesn't mean this, and they wrote it out like 4:30 on a Friday just before they go out the door. That was top tier.
Yeah. What's Milton Keynes known for? Roundabout. So the club just went, yeah, we love it. Anyway, they're probably going to come up from League Two this year. The people there signing. Let's talk about my favourite thing to talk about, Ben, or whoever I came to last on that one. I'll come to you, Ben. Goalkeeper kits. What a lovely goalkeeper kit it is.
Yeah, they've smashed it again, though. I think last year's weren't amazing for me. Didn't like the mad colours. I like a dark classic.
They've gone back to the classic colours, haven't they? Because the season before it was kind of like a black and a subtle green, wasn't it?
Yeah, or the mad orange one is what mad orange and pink as well, wasn't it?
Oh no, season last year was mad orange and pink.
Yeah,
it was grey, black, and green the season before.
Yeah, I think it's a cracking goalkeeper kit as well. Really nice pattern. They've just done well, haven't they? For a last year New Balance, it's kind of sad that this is it. I think they've gone out with the best of the bunch as long as the away kits for New Balance for me have always been a problem. The maroon one is the best they've done. The rest I haven't been impressed with. So yeah, but their home kits, I don't think they haven't done a bad one.
No, we'll get to that, talking about what happens after New Balance goes. Tom, coming back to the goalkeeper kit, did Ben make a boo-boo by not buying it off Vinted? The unbadged version that somehow ended up on Vinted about 2 weeks before it came out?
It looks that way. And you can see by his face that he knows he's made a mistake.
He knows he's made a mistake.
He needs to learn lessons from this. Take it away, have a big think. But, you know, it is a really, really nice goalkeeper kit. It's one that people can wear. Like, I think, like, as an adult, you don't really want a pink and yellow, like, flashy kit to wear at any point. like even to play like 5-a-side, I think it's a bit too far sometimes. So it's nice from a fan point of view to have a kit that's pretty decent. So yeah, I'd be gutted if I was banned personally.
I did enjoy
Yeah.
Bluebird's post on Twitter with the Simpsons meme saying, "Don't make me tap the sign," and the sign said, "People over 13 should not be buying goalkeeper kits." That did make me laugh, but he's wrong. He's very wrong in this case. It's a good kit.
I think I've bought all the goalkeeper kits from the last couple of seasons. They ended up really cheap, and I just want all the kits for like future collection purposes. I don't wear them, but I just buy them.
You do?
You fucking liar.
I've maybe worn the goalkeeper kit once on this podcast, right? But I haven't worn it out to play in or anything like that. Let's talk about the potential subtle hints at the away kits, Ben. If we're going by the video, orangey and purple.
Yeah, the orangey sunburst one sort of thing has instantly made me think of that Barcelona kit with the Qatar Foundation on it, where Messi sort of hit that ridiculous season. So I think it's clear that at some point, Yusuf Salek scoring 100 goals and breaking the record in that kit. So we've got that to look forward to.
And Tom, how glad will you be that we just don't have a light blue away kit? Because that seems to have been the theme over the last couple of years. And they were pretty shit, weren't they?
Yeah, they weren't great. I think there's a reason why it's not on my rail behind me, that one. I really had the urge to go out and buy the light blue ones. But yeah, there is a risk that we'll have a kit that looks like a bit like a cheap cocktail you get in an all-inclusive hotel, though. Like, depending on how it's done. But no, I'm excited to see it. Like, we've got a good home kit now, so you can kind of... I don't mind them being a bit ambitious with an away one then, because you've got one that it's purchasable. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, excited.
Yeah, I think the kits are good. And Ben, as we kind of touched upon it earlier, you know, we've had New Balance now for the last sort of 4 years. They obviously came in a bit of a blaze of glory with a nice marketing campaign. It's kind of got a bit quieter year on year since then to this year. It's just like, yeah, players can have some photos in the kits. But overall, I think as a run of 4 kits, they were pretty good, weren't they? They were pretty consistent. They didn't change the formula too much, and we've probably got a strong four strong home kits from the last 4 years.
Yeah, and each one's very different. Like there's different parts coming in with like the V-neck and the Bluebird pattern was a strong start. Probably the weakest was the following one for me. I didn't like the one with the little button that much. It was okay, but they've been really solid. I think everything they've done has been, or like. The training gear has been decent. The away kits have been all right, but the home kits have been some of the best compared to what Adidas were putting out. I think they've done very well.
Yeah, I mean, Adidas got very lazy towards the end. Tom, who would you like to see come in as a kit connoisseur? And we can all see your rail showing it off. New Balance, their deal is up this season. I think they did their 4 years. Who's going to come in and replace them? Are we looking at a Macron, a Castor? Are we looking at an unknown name? Are we getting Cosray Sports back? What do you think is going to happen?
I like you went for the Macron, like the pronunciation of a French politician rather than the brand there.
Emmanuel Macron.
Nice little flourish. I swayed back and forth a bit because for years you were crying out for something like Adidas to come in. But then you realise that you are kind of restricted in what they allow you to do design-wise. So say, do you have something like, was it Sudo or whatever, who do Wolves kits and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Where you might have a little bit more ambition in there. But I've realized that, like, I don't care about the brand as much anymore. It is almost down to like the kit by kit basis. So to be honest, I don't mind who it is, as long as whoever comes in doesn't go completely mad and does do these like subtle nods to like old kits and things like that. We're pretty easy fan base to please like that. You put a black and yellow away kit in there and people will go absolutely nuts for it. Like this, like really simple things you can do.
Yeah.
So, and I think as I'm getting older, I care a little bit less as well. Because I know there'll be people who are going, how the hell have we spoken about just kits for 15 minutes in this podcast? There'll be people doing the skip bit, there's no doubt. But you know, as long as it's blue, the home kit, I think most people will be happy going forward.
I thought we were giving the people what they wanted.
Yeah, some people, not all.
No, that's true. Tell you who we won't have, Hummel. Went bust. Let's talk about the fixtures. Obviously, the fixtures came out last week as well. Last Thursday. Ben, Has the realization that we're in League One really set in now? When you look at that fixtures list, my God, there's some teams you haven't played there for a while.
Yeah, it's very. I was excited, then I realized, oh, we've got to go and play at all these places. And then it was sort of like, oh, fuck, we really have been sent down here. And we really are back in. We are an EFL League One side. Like, was it 1 or 2 home Tuesday league games this season because of all the cup competitions and stuff like that as well? It was a weird one. It was exciting and then really anticlimactic at the same time of going, oh, they're out. Oh, they're out. It was an odd one.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, we start on some pretty familiar territory. Peterborough at home, that's on Sky on the 2nd of August. I think more Sky TV games get announced by this Thursday. So when this podcast goes out, we'll have a few days before the next Sky games come out. The first month, there's some old friends, Peterborough, Rotherham, Plymouth, some friends we haven't seen for a while, Port Vale, some friends you saw last season, Luton Town. And then a brand new friend at AFC Wimbledon, a team. Obviously, we played Wimbledon, but AFC Wimbledon, if you accept that MK Dons kind of took that and all that kind of stuff, AFC Wimbledon are the true Wimbledon, but they're a new team that we haven't played in disguise. I mean, I know what Ben's saying. It is quite depressing that we are in League One, but it is exciting, isn't it, to play some of these teams you haven't played in a while and some brand new teams.
I was completely the opposite of Ben. I got more excited as the more I read through the list, and then I had massive FOMO. And like, I was just sat there going, oh, I want to go to all these grounds. Like, I think we've said on another pod, we need something freshen up a bit, like to kind of, it's gone a bit stale, hasn't it? And I think this could be a blessing if it's done in the right way. It was the Vertu Trophy draw that made me realize how fucking low down we've gone. When you go, ooh, Arsenal under 21s. And it's like, oh yeah, the realization has hit. We've gone from playing Arsenal a few years ago in the Premier League to their under 21s on a Tuesday night now. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we have fallen quite a bit here. But I think...
Go on.
Yeah,
carry on. No, you carry on.
I will. I'll do it.
Fucking one of you.
I think, like, just once we get into it, it's just it's just nice to see new names. There's certain ones, like, I always go to them, but like Preston, I don't know what it is. Every time I see that, it makes me a bit...
I hate Preston.
Terrible games.
Yeah, and it's some really good grounds just to go to. There'll be places, we'll sell out away ends. There'll be people missing out on tickets and stuff because these grounds are small. And you realize, like, you look at our season ticket sales, and it's like our season ticket sales is larger than a lot of grounds capacities in this division. And it's like, okay, there is a gulf between the size of us of a club here and some of the ones will be languishing towards the bottom of this league. So I think it'll be a really, really interesting year for us to be put in the mix of these teams.
I've got the fixtures open in front of me, and Ben's already touched on it, but there's a lack of kind of Tuesday games. And if you look at September, October, November, we simply play Saturday for 3 months in a row. And obviously that doesn't account for the Vertu Trophy. It accounts for the fact that in November, we'll be in the FA Cup first round for the first time in 20 odd years. If we get through the Vertu, there'll be the kind of knockout games. There's also the Carabao Cup to kind of slot in around that. I know we have Swindon, but obviously that fits in. And if we get through, there'll be more games to fit in. But Ben, it's a stark realization, really, isn't it? That at this stage, a lot of our season is kind of unknown because there's still fixtures to be kind of planted around and sorted out. It's in a month's time when they figure that out, that fixture list could look completely different.
Yeah, it's really weird, like, to not know, because I'm still not 100% sure on what the format is for the Vertu Trophy and stuff like that. Like
3 games.
It's not. I part of me is like, is it home and away? Is it that? It's just.
So we'll play Arsenal at home. We won't play them away. So the under 21 teams from the Premier League go to play every other club away, and then I think Newport have potentially said we're away at Newport, and I think we'll be home against Exeter, but I could be wrong.
So it's just there's a lot still to come out. What I quite like about the fixture list is if you go on the Cardiff website, they haven't actually got the icon for League One there. So it's just blank and like a really pixelated version of the Carabao Cup PNG as well. I'm quite enjoying that. It's a weird one, I think, as well. A lot of it's going to be changed. I know we're in League One. You think we'd be like, there'll be a lot more 3 o'clock kickoffs, I think. but there'll still be a lot of changes with it because of Sky and like the new Sky deal. I'm not sure how all that works as well with League One. Do they put more games on a like 12 and 5 o'clock kickoffs at times?
Well, I think I remember from last year there were a lot of League One games were being moved to things like Thursday nights. There are a fair few. The match weekend starts on Thursday and ends Monday night because there'll be a Thursday night game, Friday night game, Saturday lunchtime, Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, Sundays, and then Monday nights as well. So we could see more games on a Thursday. I think games are going to get chopped around because of the international breaks as well. Obviously,
yeah, that's a big one.
You need 3 call-ups, but obviously our situation is exacerbated by the fact that the Wales games are played at the CCS Stadium. So there'll be game weekends where they're going to have to do some jiggery pokery to move the Cardiff games to like the Tuesday, Wednesday, potentially to allow the international games to play. I imagine across our squad we'll still get 3 call-ups at least for international duty. If you think of Ashford, Colwill, all the Welsh players, plus a couple of supplementaries who do go on international.
Under 21s count as well in that, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so you just need 3 call-ups. So I imagine we'll see games postponed because of that, which will then move them to midweek as well. So, like, I think the September. When's the first international window? Is it in September?
13th,
of the season,
is it?
Yeah. So if you look at Stockport, will probably move because
we've got Kazakhstan early September, haven't we? I think it's the 4th.
So that we could lose the Burton and Stockport games could be moved around
it's the Burton game that get moved, but Burton and Cardiff City Stadium, so that'll have to be moved.
So I think it's all going to change. Ben, looking at the fixtures list, we've talked about the fact we're not playing Preston this year. Who are you most excited about seeing back on that list? Who are you excited about playing this season?
There's a couple of aways that I really want to do, but they've fallen on as per usual. They've fallen on crap days, so I can't do every away. So I was earmarking a couple like Wimbledon, especially at the London area. I like doing those aways. I was like, I'll definitely do Wimbledon Tuesday night. So work rules that out. Stockport's quite a cool one, and I think that is a Saturday one, so that is a possible. But like 13th, just seeing people, seeing people like Bradford, Leyton Orient on there for me is quite cool. I don't know why. They're just a club that I've always quite liked. And just little bits like that. It's a weird one. But yeah, it is really nice to see some of these back on there. Wimbledon, Lincoln, just for that mad badge.
Yeah, the Imps. Maggie Thatcher statue nearby. Bring your eggs. Tom, who are you most excited about seeing?
Like, I'm going through the list and I was like, oh, that's a good one. I said, that'll be my answer. I said, oh, no, but there's them. And like Ben mentioned them. It's like, the likes of Orient, Bradford, I think Lincoln, Exeter, even the likes of like Northampton. I know we've played there a couple of times. I think we even played Coventry there in the Cup, didn't we, when they were moved ground and stuff as well. But Mansfield,
Jazzy and Bob debut.
Yeah, Mansfield last game of the season and stuff as well. Like there's some really standout ones there. And even the likes of like Doncaster, we haven't played them in ages. I felt like we played them all the time when I was a kid, like around like early teens and stuff like that. And it's nice to see names like that back on there. So it feels a bit more, I don't know, like real football. If like, I know there's probably people looking at the list going, this is proper football we've got back here. There are some small grounds in there. And yeah, I'm genuinely excited to there's a whole like league of new players for me to learn again. Because I weren't great in the championship with other teams. This is going to be a real test.
It's also quite a unique league for suffixes. You've got an Orient, which doesn't exist in any other league. Argyle doesn't really exist in any other league. Albion, I think I can think of West Brom, but you've got an Albion in this league, and you've got the 2 Wanderers, Wickham and Bolton. So it's a really good league for those suffixes, lads.
It's a good way of looking at it.
It's a really good way of looking at it. Also, though, you've got to play fucking Reading. The one ground I've been to probably as many times as I've been to the Cardiff City Stadium. Last time I went, I got into a stranger's car. Won't be doing that again. And also, you've got people like I think the names that kind of make me go them again is probably Reading and Huddersfield, and even now Luton to an extent. Like I've been to Luton's ground so many times, and as much as I love it because it's a proper football ground, that away end is sunken below the pitch. It's cramped, it's tight, and it's a bit of a hog to get to. So. I will go because it's close. And of course I will go, but I'm just getting a bit fed up of playing Luton. We seem to kind of follow each other around. I guess the question though, Ben, is when will the title be wrapped up? Looking at that fixture list, when will we have the League One trophy sewn up? Is it March? Is it April? Is it even earlier than that for you?
I think it'll go. I think we'll recreate our first promotion back to the Premier League, and lift the trophy for Bolton at home. I think that's when it happens for us.
Nice. Tom?
I think we'll have nothing to play for by March. Mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah.
Peter out.
Peter out at Peterborough in April.
Yeah.
It would be nice to think that by Northampton, Northampton home on the 25th of April is when we potentially seal something, if it's a promotion or what.
Gareth Bale walking around with the League One trophy.
Gareth Bale going, I will get this club back to where we belong. And he's announcing the fact that Aaron Ramsey's come home that day. God, that would be great, wouldn't it? Let's talk about the Vertu Trophy, a format that nobody knows really how it works, but it's been drawn. Exeter and Newport, probably... Are they our closest clubs? Newport are definitely our closest club, but I think Exeter are the closest in League One because obviously we're playing them on Boxing Day. And Arsenal's under 21s, Ben. You talked about already how you don't understand how the format works. So are we going to win it?
I like to think so. There's got to be some Wembley trip out of this, isn't there? There's got to be some trip to Wembley for League One. Has to be. Please? Because
I feel like, I'm going to say it now, I feel like we're going to do a Wrexham when they got to like the FA Trophy final against, was it Bromley, and lost. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get to the final and we're going to play someone like Stevenage and somehow lose. We can't play Stevenage because it's a South North draw. Doncaster.
That's very Cardiff City, yeah. Losing to Doncaster there. I'd be all right with that. A day out in Wembley, sort of. Why not? We haven't done it. It's been a while since we've been there, so I don't know. Yeah, I just quite like the fact we've drawn Newport County. I think that is quite fun. There is a derby. It's some fun there. So, and obviously I play football in Newport, so there's a bit of grief I can give a couple of the boys.
They'll give you grief back when they win. Tom, is Newport a derby in your mind?
Yes.
Good.
Because it's just really fucking close. And to be honest with you, people are having a go about the Swansea Wrexham thing, calling it a Welsh derby. There isn't many Welsh teams in the English setup. I think all of them are derbies to a point. And it's good that we've got a fixture like that because this is the type of trophy where we could be battling record low crowds. So that instantly makes it more interesting and put something on it. And I'm far too into this trophy thing already, even though I know fuck all about it. Because it's just new again. And it's like, we could win it. It's something we don't get a chance to play in. And it's just, I think I'm more excited going into the season than if we just survived and stayed in the Championship. And this trophy, even though it means absolutely nothing, is dominating my thoughts more than it should after the draw's been made.
Fixtures are regionalised until the quarter-final stage, so we could potentially play Stevenage in the final. Which is exciting for all of us, really. Who are the record? Who's won this competition the most? Ben Price.
Who would win it the most? It feels like a very Peterborough thing to win.
So they've won it 3 times, which is a joint most with Tom. Who do you think has won it the joint most times at Peterborough?
Barnsley?
Bristol City.
That's
League club, Bristol City. They've won it 3 times. Darren Ferguson is the first manager to succeed in the competition on 3 occasions, and is the first person to ever win the trophy 4 times, having won it as a player with Wrexham. Isn't that fascinating? Eh?
It's
annoying. Yeah, it actually was a bit. I wanted to give you a deuce there, but there was a couple of moments where I was like, which is interesting. Isn't that nice?
Ferguson probably won that in like those 3 wins have happened across 8 different spells at Peterborough because it feels like he's sacked and hired by them every 18 months.
Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah, he is. I think because he's been there about a season and a half. I think he's gone now, hasn't he? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to find the actual page. It doesn't matter. Question about the Newport game or even the Exeter game, Ben. Are we going to see a record low attendance at the CCS for a Cardiff game with either of those, or even the Swindon Carabao game?
I think you're more likely for the Swindon Carabao game or if Exeter's at home. If Newport's at home, I reckon that might be a decent little crowd. I know Newport will bring a lot as well. They'll want to do it because they don't get many big days out. So... yeah, I don't think the Newport game will be the one. Exeter at home in the Carabao Cup. or not the Carabao, the Virtu Trophy isn't going to be one to draw the casuals in, is it? You're going to have to be a proper football sicko to go to that.
Yeah, you were be a proper football sicko. Tom, would you go if you were here because you're a football sicko?
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm just quite excited by it. I've said this. I'm just fascinated. I have no idea how it works. Like, are we playing them home or away? We don't know, do we?
No, we play 3 games. So the games are split. So there's 4 teams in the group. You play each team once. You either play them home or away. Arsenal, 21s from the Premier League, will always play away. And I think we're playing Newport at home because they've potentially said that on their website. We're playing Newport away. That's the only one there's been any hint of. I think the draw and the scheduling comes next week.
There we go. But like, I think that makes it even more interesting. Newport away, I think, is a fun one. And
yeah,
but the Exeter crowd at home could be pretty low. But the only benefit is that we don't play Exeter very often. They might bring a few fans, possibly. But like, yeah, the Swindon Carabao one, I think Swindon will bring quite a lot of fans, but I don't think there'd be many in the home end for that one. That's for sure.
I'm kind of excited about that because I can't remember the last time we played Swindon.
Pre-season.
Pre-season,
like competitive.
Yeah.
It'd have been better if it was away, but I think I didn't actually mind that as a draw. I thought it was an all right, like quite a fun draw. It would have it was just a classic. It would have been a better draw away than it is at home.
We last played Swindon in 2003, so it's been 22 years.
Wow, that's mad.
22 years. We have never even been a runner-up in the EFL Trophy. I'm having a look now. Never been a runner-up, never been a winner. Swansea have won it twice. Torquay have been a runner-up. Tranmere have won it once, been a runner-up twice. We've never made a final. So that is exciting, isn't it? Time for a quiz. As we're playing Newport, I've done higher or lower. Players who played for Cardiff and Newport. It's a simple game of higher or lower, Ben and Tom. If I say a name, I'll give you the number of appearances for the first one. You've got to guess if the second guy is higher or lower. Do you understand higher or lower?
Yeah, for what club, though?
For Newport. So all these appearances are for Newport.
Got you.
Jazzy Barnum Bob, he's the first name on my list because he's the best named footballer of all time. He made 39 appearances. This is taken off Wikipedia, by the way, for anyone at home who's going, oh, what about these games? It's literally off Wikipedia and like the career bit on the right-hand side of the page. Jazzy Barnum Bob, two spells at Newport. He made 39 appearances. I'll come to you first, Ben, then I'll come to you for the second one, Tom. Next player on the list, Darcy Blake. How many appearances did he make for Newport? Higher or lower? Lower? You're locking that in?
Lower as well.
Lower. You are correct. It was 8 appearances for Newport from Darcy Blake.
I'm surprised it was 8.
I was surprised as well when I read it. I thought it was a few less. Next up is a player I didn't know had made an appearance for Newport. Mark Harris. How many games, or higher or lower than 8, Mark Harris's appearances at Newport?
Higher.
Ben, any advances?
I'll go higher.
Yep, higher it was. He doubled Darcy Blake's tally to 16. 16 appearances for Mark Harris on loan. I think he scored 2 goals. 2 goals, and then said he was eyeing up the Premier League with Cardiff the following season. Sorry, Mark. Next on my list, Ben Price, Omar Bogle. He was the saviour once, didn't save anything for Cardiff. Omar Bogle, striker. How many appearances did he make for Newport? Higher or lower?
I'm going to go higher, purely because I think he was just... I'm going to go higher.
Same
Tom, you know higher. All right, yeah. Higher it was. 71 appearances. Omar Bogle, 71 appearances. Relatively recently. He's now at Crewe. Tom, Cardiff Legends coming next. Brian Clark, famous header of a goal against Real Madrid. Played for Newport. I didn't know that. Higher or lower than 71 appearances?
Lower.
Ben? Higher or lower?
Yeah, lower.
It's your first misstep, I'm afraid. Higher. 80 appearances he made for Newport County. 80 appearances in the 70s. A bit before your time, though, Tom, so I'll let you off that one. Next, Ben, another player I didn't realise had played for Newport, Nathan Blake. How many games higher or lower than Brian Clark?
How many Clark again? 80.
80.
Lower. I don't think he was there long.
Yeah, lower.
Lower? Yeah, lower. You shot well there. A paltry 5 for Nathan Blake at Newport. So that's 5. I think this one's going to... this is going to separate the wheat from the chaff, Tom. The next one, Cardiff legend, a great header to set up Michael Chopper
gonna
against
what?
Swansea. What?
You dropped
Separate
out.
wheat from the chaff. Oh, did I? It said separate wheat from the chaff. Aaron Wildig. How many appearances? Is it higher or lower than Nathan Blake?
Higher.
Who's this to?
It was to Tom. Ben, are you listening? I said Tom.
You dropped out.
Only for you.
Tom, higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher. Ben, any advances on that?
Higher.
It was higher, yeah, by some distance. 75,
Yeah.
Aaron Wildig made. Another player, Ben, I didn't realise. Am I coming through loud and clear to you now, Ben?
You know, yeah. Yeah, you went. I saw Tom's beautiful face. You just went with a spinning wheel of death there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's what we all want. Aaron Wildig, he had 75. How many did Nicky Maynard have playing for Newport? Nicky Maynard. Higher or lower?
He was there a couple of years.
He was?
I'm going to go lower.
Lower,
I'm gonna
Tom?
go lower as well.
You're spot on. It was 19 appearances for Nicky Maynard at Newport County.
Was he only there one season then?
I think it was like one, maybe even half a season. I just went along with you to try
I
and
thought
put
he
you
was
off
there
the
longer
scent.
than that for some reason.
Cardiff legend coming next, Tom Phillips, is Kevin Cooper. Scored a great goal against, I think, Stoke, and we beat them like 6-1 all those years ago. Signed him from Wolves. He went on to Newport. He's now managing in Malaysia, but was he higher or lower than 19 appearances when he was at Newport?
Higher.
Ben?
Lower.
Oh, it's the first time we've gone different.
Tom was right, higher. 33 appearances he made for Newport County. And the final one, I'll show you the photo I found for this guy, because I think it's possibly the greatest photo ever been taken of a footballer. I don't even know what the guy's doing, but it's Jeffrey Eckhart, Cardiff legend. Has he headed that or has he kicked it? Has he headed it or kicked it? It's really hard to say. But he was playing for Newport at the time, Ben. Jeff Eckhart, former Cardiff legend. I think he went on to Newport after playing for us. I'll stop sharing that screen now because you've all enjoyed it. Was he higher or lower than 33 appearances for you, Ben? Was he higher or lower than 33 appearances?
I'll go, based off that, lower.
Tom, higher or lower?
I was going to go lower as well.
Well, fuck that one up. 4 times as high. 122 appearances for Jeffrey Eckhart.
There we go.
There we go. That was a fun little game, wasn't it? I'll tell you what also is a fun game. Twitter. Where's all the racism today? Twitter.com/VFT Ninian. We had a few tweets. Oliver Rees, first up, positive week. First week of pre-season. Fixtures out. New kit. The Bale News. Plenty of VFTM podcasts. Found out BBM's Insta isn't as bad as Rees's. However, the club did manage to spell April wrong in the initial fixtures graphic. All in a quiet week at Cardiff City. They spelt it Arpill. Arpill.
I've got sympathy for a man. You've got to rush stuff like that, and it is my worst nightmare seeing stuff like that, doing anything like that. And I'm shit with spelling. There's always typos.
You don't rush that. That's a template.
Yeah, and 12 months a year don't change very often.
Yeah. If they'd spelled Stevenage wrong.
I did all I'm saying is I've got sympathy. I did a calendar for work a few months ago, and when it went to print, it came back with Bonfire Night in November and October. Mistakes happen, all right?
If anyone is looking to hire Ben Price, he does come with his own spell checker and grammar checker, just to put that clear. I was going to say something about work then. I once set up a calendar at work where I didn't set up a calendar for work. I put the Walthamstow fixtures into a Google Calendar for people, and one fixture ended up lasting for 3 months. So I do understand how these mistakes can happen. James C. Roberts, absolutely love the kit. I also think BBM taking control of recruitment is a very positive sign. I'm feeling really excited about it all, just waiting on some signings to come through the door now, getting giddy for the new season all of a sudden. Stephen Harrison, would you assume the badge would change should Bale take over? Tom, it feels like a power move for anyone who comes in that they just get rid of the old badge, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if they just get rid of the little worm or whether they change it completely. Because what one would you change it to? Would you go completely new again? Would you go back to our old one? I don't think they would. We've had a lot of badges. Like, we've changed a hell of a lot. Like, we've got 3 different ones now on this. I know the one I put on isn't one that was on a kit, but it's mad. There's been zero consistency with this club, with badges. So I think I'd be a bit bored of another change more than just removing the worm.
I think that's it. When you look at the kits in the 90s, we had a round badge similar to what we had last year that had Cardiff City AFC around it on one kit. If you look at the 80s kits and even before that, the badges changed almost every season. It is quite a new phenomenon, I think, having a badge that stays consistent. I say new phenomenon. It seems to become more of a thing that people worry about now. When you look back at even sort of kits from other clubs, they had different badges in sort of the 90s and the early 2000s. I think it's right that we should have the same badge that goes from kit to kit. I just think it's become a new thing. Paul, Evil Welsh G says, anyone else think the kit should have been the kit for last year with a classic collar? I said to myself after last year, I'm only buying this one for the retro badge, but here we are, new year, new shirt, new purchase, for fuck's sake. How many shirts are we going to sell with Bale on the back? 1 million, Ben? 1 million shirts with Bale on the back?
Yeah, I think easy. I think at least that, if not more.
Yeah, I think so as well. Pricey 0106. Simic has been a complete waste of money. Did the club not learn from the Cornelius cock-up that the club signings don't work? Like the kit, but after some of the previous New Balance kits, was expecting something more unique, spectacular than what we've got. We'll talk more about Simic shortly. Di Richards, people being annoyed at the badge being back. Discuss. That's our Las Vegas correspondent checking in. This one's for you, Ben. Brandon Arthur, which WWE superstar personifies the preseason so far?
It's a big question, that. I'll go with Solo Sikoa. Started out expecting big things, but so far it's been quite funny. So we'll go with
Who
that.
the fuck is
neither
that?
of you. He's a member of the blood. He was a former member of the Bloodline. He's quite good. He's a big Samoan bastard.
Right.
There we go. Thank you.
Joe Hendry. Richard Endicott says we haven't talked about the Dimi Gutas interview from a couple of weeks back. In his words, what was the problem? Maybe we were too relaxed and not just on the field. Everyone around the team, even the fans, no pressure, no disapproval. It's not a great look, is it? Tom, it did feel like towards the end of the season, everyone just sort of gave up, didn't they?
Yeah, it was odd. There was no kind of panic stations at any point. And considering what was going on, there should have been. I think we as a fan base, like, even we weren't that tense about going down. We mention it a lot, but I must admit, it didn't really cross my mind that we actually would drop. And it definitely felt like that from our squad, as if we were good enough to get out of this at some point. Don't worry, we'll take care of matters. And we just never got to that point. But yeah, that kind of sums it up really, doesn't it? It makes sense to why we found ourselves in that mess in the end, because not only did we go down, we were bottom, and deservedly so as well.
Yeah, I think I haven't listened to that interview as much as I love Dimi Gutas. I think it's something we could talk about in more detail on a later pod. I do think he's right though. Like, I remember being at kind of QPR away, and that felt almost like, the 0-0. That felt like a defining moment in that kind of relegation battle. And at the end of the game, we were sort of kind of cheering the players off a bit, trying to give them a G up. And I think we just got the balance completely wrong. It only really got toxic at Sheffield United away. And then I think as soon as Reza went, which was, I think, after that game, Ramsey came in and everyone just kind of went, oh, well, that's that then. There was no kind of like upswell of anger. It was really odd. MJCC.
I think that is the worst part about it, was just it's been coming for so long. I think it wasn't so much of people panicking. It was just people sort of accepted it and said, oh, this is happening then. And it's all our own doing.
Yeah, it did feel like we'd circled the drain and finally we fell down it. MJTCFC, this is the most positive summer I've felt since last summer, where I deluded myself we were back, then we weren't really back. Neath Blues, if you could only make 2 changes in a takeover with all the options staying the same, which 2 would you pick? Dalman steps down, Chew steps down, the red dragon is removed from the crest, all the red seats are changed to blue. Dalman and Chew, bye-bye. Ben?
Yeah, completely agree. The others don't affect the run of the club that much. They're not that big of a deal, really. But those 2 dickheads gone.
Yeah, exactly the same. But
you both nodded at the same time. So
if we're well run, then the seat colour doesn't matter because we'll have bums on them. You won't see the fuckers. So, like, if we're reaching our potential, and like I said, the badge thing, we've had so many, it's hard to get attached to it now anyway. So the personnel changes would be absolutely huge.
A lot of love for the kit. Glenn TCFC, the kit is stunning. Very excited for the away shirt now. Ellis, the kit deserves a trip to Wembley. Gaz Williams, if that home kit had last year's badge on it, would be an instant classic. Randall, the nicest kit we've gotten from New Balance. Bluebirds Past, were you amazed as I was that Rubin got the highest score in the bleep test? I keep thinking about this, Ben, and I'm not surprised at all, because he's a midfielder and they should probably be the fittest players on the pitch.
Yeah, and he's quick. when he wants to be.
And he's
Like
got
you
long
think, back to
legs.
you think back to his Bristol, like that goal he scored against Bristol City and stuff. Like he's capable of absolute power, and that's what you sort of need for the bleep test is just that stride. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that much.
Tom, Ruben Colwell hasn't fulfilled his potential, as it were, but he's not like he's not someone who shirks things, is he? He's a hard worker.
Yeah, but he gives off the air that he's not because he's so kind of effortless. Like we've had players like that in the past, and I can imagine this becomes another stick to beat him with. Like if he looks like he's been lazy on the pitch, we've seen your bleep test results. Why aren't you moving more? So I can't wait for this to come up about 10 games in. But I was a little bit surprised. I thought he'd be up there. I didn't think he'd win it. But well done to him.
I think he got. I couldn't hear the levels, but it was a high level on the bleep test. I think fair play to him because I would tap out about level 7 in my current form. Amity says, reckon if we get over 1k in the ground for Arsenal under 21s at home, it'll be a miracle. I still think people will go to that game because it'll say Arsenal on the ticket. And you have a lot of Arsenal fans in Cardiff who probably want to go to that game to watch their youth. Reese Badman says, if Bale and Co were to take over, would that open the door to Ramsey staying? The radio silence from him and the club seems very odd. We'll get to that shortly. Chris Bradwick, this is a good question. Which of the current squad do you think will be at the Oasis gigs in Cardiff? Ben?
Wintle.
Wintle and NG. And Tanner. Tanner will just be there because they're his mates.
Tanner bought his ticket off Twickets for like 5 times the price as well.
Can't buy it off Twickets for 5 times the price, Ben. They only sell at face value.
All right, some resale site then.
Yeah, thank you. I like Twickets. Tom?
I think Alnick would be there.
Yeah.
I think BBM will be there.
Yeah, good shout.
I don't know how he get a ticket because he wouldn't have known he was joining Cardiff when the tickets came out. So I'd question, if you see a picture of him there, I'd question how he's got his tickets. And I will question him. But yeah, I don't reckon there's that many massive Oasis fans in that squad, do you? They're too young.
No, yeah, I'd have said Joe Rolls, but he's not in the squad anymore, is he? It's quite sad. Darland's quite cultured. Seems quite cultured.
I think Oasis is not cultured enough for Darland.
That's true, actually. He'd be at Blur, wouldn't
he? yeah.
Twitter.com/VFT Ninian for all your tweets. Right, let's talk about the transfers. The Simic transfer was mentioned there, Ben Price. He has been confirmed as gone. Yeah, he's gone to Karlsruhe in the Bundesliga. He said he's really happy to play at the BB Bank Wild Park Arena, which I think is the first time anyone has said that sentence. So well done, Rocco Simic, for being excited about that. What an absolute clusterfuck that was, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah, but I think we're our own worst enemy at making that worse than it was. I get it from his point of view, he'd be absolutely livid. He was probably sold at some stage you'll get a chance in the first team or whatever. His low move out in Belgium didn't work either. He's just had a shit 12 months. I think he just needs to go out and play first team football somewhere. There's clearly talent there, but managers didn't fancy him. And he scored goals for the under 21s, but there wasn't a time this year we've looked at it and gone, what we need is to change the strikers. I think the one thing we got very lucky with was our strikers scored goals. It was everything else. It was a mess. It was getting the balls in, but when they got the chances, they scored the goals. Like Salek got 8, I think, and then Robertson got 12 or 13. Wow. So you're looking 20 goals from strikers. That's what you want. He just wasn't going to get a look in at that stage. It's just the case of that. Under 21s is massively different from football as well. There's been some rewriting that Etienne Velaconio, some people are sort of making out he wasn't given a chance either. He wasn't given the chance because he was shit when he played the 3 or 4 appearances he made for the first team.
Apart from pre-season where he was an absolute world beater against Newcastle, I think it was. I was convinced he was going to... Didn't he score 2 against Newcastle?
Yeah.
Not that I'm holding on to that.
Well, I mean, what was that, 13 years ago? Can you talk about it now? Yeah. Let that go, Tom. Let that go. It shows the dysfunction that was going on in the club last summer, doesn't it? That he was supposedly a club transfer signed by our esteemed head of recruitment. Bullet didn't really have a say in it or didn't really want him at the club. It depends on the kind of story that you listen to. And he was just kind of brought in and kind of immediately shipped out to Kortrijk, where he didn't have a good kind of 6 months. It's confusing, isn't it, what happened?
Yeah, it doesn't start on good terms. Like if you're that player and you catch wind that the manager didn't want you, it's not a great start. And like he would have come in thinking he was going straight into that first team because he's playing a decent caliber of football.
Scored
And
in the Champions League.
yeah, and we weren't that good either. And like we had been struggling for goals, but like then when you're bringing in Salek as well, you're bringing in other strikers rather than giving the strikers you've got there a chance. Your time, your days are numbered then, really. And I do feel for him because like it's an important part of your career, and he's just not played any football. And and we've done this to a few players now, and it's not like even like he's a British player or anything as well. He's travelled over. He doesn't know people. It'd be a lonely, lonely place. He's not playing football. I feel sorry for the bloke because it's a really, really tough pill to swallow there because some of your best like football has been taken from you.
Ben, do you think there's shade to the Cornelius about it, or is it a different situation?
I think they're really different. Cornelius was brought in to sort of go straight into the first team and make an impact. I don't think Simic ever was. It was said in his announcement. He's sort of looking one for the future. It was very much promoted as that from within the club. I think it's just very telling the club have gone, actually, nah, it's or maybe he's pushed for it, and if he has, fair play to him. But yeah, it's one for the future, and we've instantly gone, nah, perhaps this isn't one for the future. Cornelius is very, very different. For the fee we paid for him and stuff like that, and all the stuff surrounding it, I can sort of get the comparisons, but I think it's more along the lines of Velaconia or Velaconia more than even Idris Sadi or something like that. I think it's just I think he'll just go down in one of those sort of, do you remember him as a striker that played for Cardiff?
Yeah, I don't remember him. I've forgotten him already. Talk about other players we can forget, Tom Phillips. Michael Reindorf. He's gone to Newport on loan. Talk about Newport earlier. Higher or lower, 0 appearances so far. So that's why I didn't put him in the quiz. He's, Reindorf kind of, he was a bit of a kind of, there's a bit of a legend around him last year. He trained well. He'd done well in Nathaniel MG, kind of banging in goals every game. Came into the first team, didn't really make an impact, didn't really get a look in. So therefore couldn't make his impact. Went to Bristol, didn't have the best loan spell. It's time for him, isn't it? He's at that age where he needs to go somewhere and kind of prove his worth. And Newport seems like a good place for him to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think like we were looking for positive stories last year and we were clutching at things, and he just seemed to be one of the things that we were clutching at, really. That we wanted someone to come in, make an impact. And he did, to be fair. He put himself about. He looked like there was something about him for sure. And I think a club like Newport's ideal. You haven't got a big move away. It's down the road. You don't have to up sticks and, move house and things like that. You can settle into it because loan spells can be difficult. We've seen that with Tanner and stuff. Like he's gone out, done nothing, come back and played well for us, like at a few levels above where he went on loan. So I think this has got the makings of a decent signing for Newport and a good move for him. So yeah, good luck to him. I think he'll do well there.
Yeah, I hope he does well. I think it's time for him to go somewhere and prove himself, isn't it? Like I think he showed in the MG Cup last year what he could do, and I think he had a really good record there. And it didn't quite work out when he stepped up to the first team, but a season at somewhere like Newport could be the kind of incubation period that he really needs. Let's talk about transfers coming into the club, and then one more going out to the club, and then people I think will leave, and then we'll round off the podcast. How we've made it to an hour, I don't know. I thought that we'd be done in half an hour, but we are fucking special. Ben, what do you make of the news that Barry Murphy Bryan is taking control of transfers? Obviously, the story came from Glenn. He's kind of come in. He's spoken to our esteemed head of recruitment and has said that he's got his own ideas in mind for transfers. Do you really think this signals the change that people thinks it does, or are we being a little bit naive?
I'm very much in a wait and see on this. I think it's obvious that he's got a certain profile of player he wants to bring in. It's clear that they want to bring the age of the squad down and really make it a place for sort of like his skill is developing younger players. The club will want that because they can develop young players and sell them on for a massive profit as well. It makes total sense. But until we see stuff come in, it's hard to know. What I do think is it's important the manager gets a bit more of a say to prevent stuff like the Wilfred Kanga situation coming in.
Wilf.
He scored in his debut for his new club. Isn't that mind-blowing?
The Belgian lads.
Yeah. So it's just, the club, we need a change in structure with that. I think a lot of them didn't work last year. We just, have to wait and see on that. I think it's hard to sort of tell whether he has, but I think he'll want you'll definitely want to have a say.
I watched the highlights from the Cardiff Swansea draw from last season. I forgot how close Wilfred Kangas went to scoring in that first half, where he had the shot that just nipped over the crossbar. If he'd scored that, how different could things have been? It would have been lovely. Tom, how much pressure can BBM put on transfers when we still have the kind of transfer committee and the head of recruitment in Patrick Boyd still at the club? It's surely not going to change that much from what we was operating as before.
It'd be interesting because we have dropped the league, whether there'll be less input into some of those signings, because players we would have looked at in the past are just too high caliber for us now. We won't be looking at the same clubs and things as well. It'd be interesting whether they leave the manager have a little bit more free reign, because it's just a cheaper load of players that we'll know less about. So perhaps they will just lean into it because it wasn't working before. So perhaps a new approach. Perhaps I'm being a little bit too ambitious here, thinking that they will give him full control. But perhaps they've learned their lessons a little bit. But it's hard to know because we're hardly getting a sniff at the moment about anyone coming in. There's not many names being linked. So like Ben said, it is a bit of a wait and see because we've got absolutely nothing to go off at the moment, which is a good thing because in the years where
and there's nothing kind of leaking out.
Yeah, we've had years where we've seen the signing come in for about 3 or 4 weeks leading up to it, but we're definitely not in that case now. It might be a case of people do care less because we're in League One. But yeah, let's wait and see. He's saying all the right things around us at the moment as BBM, so let's see what comes of it.
Talking about links away from the club, Ben Price, one of the Robbos, Alex Robertson, apparently up to 12 clubs are after him. Is he going to be the first player that walks out the door on a permanent transfer this summer?
It feels like it, doesn't it? It's the first solid links to something. It feels. I still found BBM's words about him very interesting. I don't think the relationship is as strong there as some people sort of thought it would be.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it was that they were really telling on that. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be gone. And if we can get a couple of mil for him, make a bit of profit on him, and happy days. We're certainly not getting 10 million for him, despite what some people on Twitter seem to think.
No, Tom, that was my next question. People seem to think we'll get big money for him. I've seen people say nothing less than £10 million. I've seen people say we need to get £6 million for him. We spent £1 million on him last summer, rising to 3 with apparently add-ons that were quite hard to achieve. Man City have a 25% sell-on clause according to Wales Online. How much do you realistically think we're getting for a player like him? You know, we're a League One club. Alex Robertson's going to want to leave if a good kind of club is sniffing around him. It's not going to be much more than what we paid for him, is it?
I don't think he did enough to warrant it being more.
Well, exactly. His stock hasn't gone up.
No, he's clearly a very, very good player, but he didn't do well for large periods last year. I think his attitude at times is questionable, and I reckon that's where why the BBM interview isn't as glowing as people would have seemed. I'm not sure if his character's the best. I think we'll make a little bit of money on it because we don't have to take less.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're getting anywhere near 10. I'd be surprised if we're getting anywhere close to 3, to be honest with you. So let's see what happens. I wouldn't be that sad to see him go. I think he could really add something if we had him in League One. I think he's a good player, but I'd question his desire if he was playing in League One, because I don't think he'd want to be there. I think he knows he's better than this level. Well, he thinks he's better than this level. And yeah. I think he has definitely got the potential to be better than that level. And he proved that at Portsmouth. But yeah, I wouldn't be gutted to see him go. I think the money could be well spent elsewhere.
And then the last question, Ben, when Robertson goes, who else do you think is going to leave? I've got my list.
I still think it's inevitable that Callum Robinson goes. This part of me thinks Chambers sticking around. Don't know what it is. Part of me thinks he's sticking around. He might even be made club captain this year. It's not a bad sort of experience there. We said last pod that we're sort of short of leaders, short of experience. Him coming in there would be big. I still think NG's on the chopping block. I think if a bid comes in, but it is just a case of will someone come for him? I think that's a lot with a lot of the players. There's lots I think could go. But how many of them will actually be sold and how many will actually have someone come in for them, I don't know.
Want me to read out my list?
Go on.
Go on,
Horvath.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting he's not actually gone.
Robbo times 2. Simic, Sonoda, NG, Darland, Turnbull, and Cod, and Salic. That's my list. I wrote that on
You
the
think
24th of
Salik's
June.
going?
Oh, 100%. Tom, do you think he's going?
I don't want to admit that I think he's going. I think that's the one. There's not many players in that squad like where I've got such an emotional attachment to. I'd be gutted if they go. But like as you went through the list, it started to get a little bit more twitchy on that front. When you said Callum O'Dowd, like Salek and stuff, I'm starting going, oh no, they're the ones I do want to stay. And they're the ones who've actually done enough to prove they're worth a move back up. So I'd love Salek. There's part of me that thinks there's like a football purist in him that wants to be part of the story to bring us back up. But that's not the reality of how football works. So let's see. But I'd be gutted if he goes. I'd be gutted if O'Dowd goes. But the rest, not too asked.
Yeah, I didn't put Chambers on there because I think I keep coming back to the fact that I think Chambers is quite an odd player profile. When you think of him, he's 30. He's on quite a high wage. He doesn't particularly excel in midfield or defence. I think he's a good midfielder. I think he'd be great at League One. But I think if you're a club like in the Championship or the lower bottoms of the Premier League, where you're like, we need a certain type of player, he probably doesn't factor into your thinking unless you're really kind of short. So I think he would go. I did put Wintle on there originally, but I can kind of see him staying now. Again, I don't really know who takes him. Like he didn't exactly set the world on fire at Millwall last year. I think he could be really good in League One. And again, we need leaders. And if BBM gets his arms around him, I think he could be a good leader in League One, as much as we've talked about his attitude problems previously. Ben, who apart from Salek, who would you be sad to see go?
Just O'Dowd. I think the big one for me was Joe Rawls going. Like I was,
yeah.
Outside of that, I've got I'm looking at the squad list now. Salic, O'Dowd. Outside of that, apart from the youth players, I've got no real emotional attachment to any of these players. I've got no, like, everyone you reeled off there is like, yeah, if they go, I'm not that bothered, apart from O'Dowd. And looking at what you said, out of that, the list of midfielders, it would just be Ruben Colwell remaining. Suddenly, BBM's got a bigger job on his hands than I thought. But yeah, it's just state of the players, isn't it?
Yeah. We've done it. We've made it an hour, even beyond an hour. Who would have said it? They said they couldn't be done, but we did it. They said
it shouldn't be done.
They said it shouldn't be. It shouldn't really.
Tom,
you're looking at 5:30 for this. Idiot. You got to go to work in a few hours. If you like what we do, kofi.com/VFT Ninian. If you are listening via audio, please drop us a review. Make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe button wherever you are. That helps us out. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Drop a thumbs up on the video, give us a comment, hit that notifications bell for when we do new uploads. If you'd like us, follow us on TikTok, kofi.com/VFT Ninian if you want to give us some money. Ben, good night.
Ta-da.
Tom, good morning.
Thank you.